Hello again. Thank you for joining me. I would like to talk to you about a book that for me as a writer is almost like how the Bible is for Christians, like for religious people. This book, How to Write a Novel and Get It Published. I picked up this book in 2010, in June, 23rd of June 2010, in Luton. Picked it up in the airport. I believe I was going home. I was traveling home, and I picked it up because I knew in my second year I was gonna pick a screenwriting course at the university. So I was browsing the bookshop in the airport, and I've come across this book, and I was like, write a novel. I've always wanted to write a novel. I always knew I have a novel or more in me. At least I hoped, And I picked it up. It wasn't too expensive. I mean, for the information that this book offers is, and the effort that goes into writing a book like this, I couldn't be more happy to pay for it. So this book is basically, it's very compact. It has so much information on the craft of writing, but it can be used. It's mostly as the title says, how to write a novel, but it focuses on that. But any person who wants to write a story, be it a screenplay, a play, a story, a novel, non-fiction, even non-fiction, I'm not sure. I've read it a while ago, and now I'm like skipping through it. I just read passages that I'm interested in. But yeah, I think it works on the non-fiction as well a little bit. This book, if you open it up, any page is like you can read something is useful. It's packed with quotes from different writers, and it has, at the end of each chapter, it has what's it called? It has like a synopsis of what the chapter was about. So let me read you something. For example, I hope I won't get in trouble with copyright. I will only read a little bit. So 10 things to remember. This is at the end of chapter 6. Number 1, keep dialogue as brief as possible. 2, make all dialogue significant. 3, dialogue moves the story forwards. 4, dialogue gives information. 5, dialogue contributes to characterization. 6, give each character recognizable speech patterns. 7, use a light touch for dialect. 8, dialogue carries subtext. 9, support dialogue with action. And 10, read your dialogue out loud. This is funny because I was just recording a video a few minutes ago about reading your writing out loud, and I find it's very, very useful. Yeah, it's tremendously important to hear your own words. It's like either you can read it yourself, obviously, find a quiet room in your house and just be patient and read yourself. Ignore your voice, just ignore it. If you don't like it, of course, because if you like it, ignore your voice and just focus on the words you've written. Just think about the story. Leave the ego behind and that you have a crappy voice or whatever, and just focus on the words, and you'll see it will be very useful. So yeah, as I was saying about this book now, not about reading out loud, it's packed with information. Like, it makes me so happy when I just look at it, and I'm like, it just gives me hope that I will write a good story. I feel like I have learned a lot by reading this book. I feel confident enough I can deliver a story. Obviously, there's so much more I can learn, and I will, hopefully, in time, learn. But this is just, let me read it from the because I've read it a while, like the whole book I've read it a while ago, and now I'm just, as I said, picking it up, and sometimes when I need to read about, I don't know, plot or character, stuff like that, I need to focus on that. So for example, this has only the contents. It focuses on beginnings, on plot, the 8-point arc, the subplot and the symbolism, the character, the dialogue, as I was reading earlier, the viewpoint, because point of view is very important, how you tell the story, from what point of view you're delivering the story. Setting the scene, tremendously important. You just have to, yeah, if you're reading this, it's very, you have to research, you have to make scenes real, not just a bloody sketch of something out there on the page just to go over it. Style, the theme, the editing and the shaping, the personality of the writer. It also talks about the personality of the writer, the sensibility and the anatomy, the importance of considerateness. And it talks about marketing. And remember, this was in 2010. That was before, I mean, it wasn't before, it was, I think, at the beginning of the indie publishing. I mean, I've heard people who did indie publishing way before it just kind of exploded, but it was kind of around when the Kindle was like on the market, new, and yeah, it's just, it talks about marketing and what you should do to like put your work out there, and how to research editors and publishers and literary agents and all sorts of things. Let me find you some quotes to give you a more example of what this book is about. I mean, you can imagine what it is, but until you read it, trust me, if you read it, you'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much more confident about delivering a story and attempting to write a story, first of all, you know, because many people might be scared. They want to be writers, but they might be terrified about putting the first words on the page, which I find a bit, I don't know, silly. I don't want to offend anyone, but if you want to write, you're going to write. You're not going to like, oh my god, I'm just going to stare at the blank page. Of course, now just putting whatever words on the page is not great. But when you're at the beginning and you're just trying to find your style, is, you know, you can do whatever, it helps. Even stare at the blank page for 5 minutes or an hour until you pick up your pencil, or, you know, type at the computer and begin your story. So let's find a chapter. Viewpoint. No, what should I? Characterization. I think characterization is something very important in a story. So where's the contents page? Characterization or editing, writing and editing. Handling the passage of time, gaining perspective, novel length and chapter length. Very important stuff. 60, page 60, let's see. Identification with the character. It is what characters do that makes them interesting, not just who they are. Not just who they are. A fascinating character is made fascinating not because of who he is, but because of what he does. Looking into his matter further, we see that the interest in the character's actions is not so much in the action alone, but in the anticipation of action. Now, what are they going to do? As we explored in chapter 2, a storyteller is in essence someone who raises interesting questions and delays their answer. The questions, to mind you, are of two types: forward-looking, suspense, and backwards-looking, mystery. I'm dealing with both of these in my novel. It's quite interesting. I hope it will something good will come of it, and it won't be like a total mess up. But yeah, how does the magic of suspense and mystery work? How can you prevent your reader throwing the book aside in frustration or turning to the back to find the answer? This is the challenge facing all writers, to make your reader wait for the answer and to make the waiting enjoyable. How to do this? By coaxing the reader into caring enough about made-up people and then putting these people in sufficiently interesting and complex situations so that the reader's sense of intrigue or compassion is activated. The heart of this is not magnitude of action alone, nor anticipation, but identification. The reader will care what happens only if he or she cares about who it happens to, and this will happen only if the reader identifies in some ways with the fictional character. So, the importance of detail. Storytelling is picture painting with words. This means authors need to keep their eyes open and convey what they see, and once conveyed, to step back to withhold judgment. An author just gives the facts in order of specificity and concreteness, what the zoopodist Natalie Goldberg calls original detail, that is, the unadorned, humble facts, and allows the reader to reach their own conclusions. Trust the power of images to evoke. I want to find a quote for you. Oh, look at my pages. Like, I'm sorry for people who can't stand other people like me who highlight or underline or whatever. Basically, people who make notes on the books or signs. But this is the way I work. Like, I've told you I've read this book ages ago, and for the first time, and now I just pick it up and I just look at the page and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to read that. And what's that about? But the thing with this book is that, like, almost every page is like in red, or it's very. What was that? Let's see. Let's look at these two versions in detail. It was a dark and stormy night. Dark and stormy are adjectives, words that describe a noun, night in this case. Adjectives look as though they are doing something important, but are they? Exactly what did I mean by dark, and how stormy is stormy? They are clues, to be sure, but they are inexact. A full moon, on the other hand, is exact. We know the quality of light, can picture it for ourselves. The storm tearing at the limbs of the willow is likewise more in focus than stormy alone. I was thinking about an author now who said something about, there was this beautiful quote saying that, don't tell me the moon is shining, show me the glint, the glimmer of light on a glass, or something like that. I can't remember exactly right now, and I'm sure the quote is in here, as in many other books about the craft of writing, because it's a very good book. It's a very good quote, I meant, and very relevant. So yeah, guys, check this book out. It's written by Nigel Watts. I mean, I think it was compiled by Nigel Watts' wife. I believe she passed away, unfortunately, a while ago. So yeah, in the preface it says, Nigel Watts was passionate about writing, but even stronger was his motivation to help others discover the writer within. To that end, he dedicated himself in the latter part of his career to designing and teaching highly successful creative writing workshops, aptly titled Write to Life. These were designed to uncover the writer people suspect lay within, but were perhaps too frightened to release, a subject Nigel covers in this book, as I was mentioning before. It helps us writer tremendously. Yeah, the preface is written by Sahara Kohan, widow of Nigel Watts. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the word. But yeah, I would have loved to meet this man. It's a great book, along Stephen King on writing, although that is like part memoir and part book about writing, teaching how to write. This has a little bit of like memoir in it, as in the writer introduces at the beginning how he wrote, how he began his writing, I think, but very little, very little. This is focused solely on the craft of writing and helping writers to become better writers. So yeah, check it out. I'm sure there's like, I was looking at it on Kindle, and there's like, I think, different versions of it. This is the one I have. It's not a large book, like it's only like 200 or so pages, but yeah, you have all these sorts of links at the end about the marketing. I'm not sure how relevant they're now, but they're still good. I'm sure some are still available. Yeah, let me read you something more, because I can't help it. 10 things to remember. Write the novel before you try to market it. I think it's pretty clear. Research publishers before you approach them. Write a brief letter showing your commitment as a novelist. 4. Include a synopsis of the novel and 2 sample chapters. 5. Wait a month before sending a follow-up letter. Approach agents in the same way as publishers. Publishers look favorably on books sent in by agents. Yeah, if you want to be traditionally published. Self-publishing is easy, but marketing the book is very difficult. It can be very, very difficult. Vanity publishing is a waste of your money, so don't do it just because you're vain and you want to have books out there. Do it because you care and you just want to put the best work there, at least the best work at this stage in your career. And 10. Write for love, publish for the money. Publish for money. Sorry about that. Yeah, write for love, publish for money. So you have to focus on all these things, and this book teaches you about this, all these things. So I encourage you to pick it up and read it. Yeah. Thank you so much for bearing with me, and have a lovely evening. Hope to see you soon, or you'll see me soon. Thank you.